Good morning, church. It's August the 24th, and we are still in the Hebrews in chapter 11, and we're in verses 23 through 26. And we're going to talk about Moses. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents because they saw that the child was beautiful, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. We see in this account of Moses that Moses first experienced the refusal of faith. First, his parents refused to obey the king's edict. We know that God does not like murder. We know that the Egyptian midwives were protected because they disobeyed Herod also. So we see obedience here. We see refusal to follow the king's edict. We see in Moses refusal to just have the pleasures of living in the palace, being one of the princes of Egypt. Instead, he chose to be identified as one of the Hebrew slaves. They were enslaved for over 400 years to Egypt and the Pharaoh and mistreated, and Moses suffered that reproach. So he refused his refusal, and then he experienced reproach, just like Christ, just like the apostles suffered, just like Christians in some countries where communist countries, very oppressive governments, practice their faith and endure a lot of suffering. We also see the refusal, the reproach, and then we see the reward. Moses ultimately did not enter the promised land. God showed him the promised land from afar. But what we do see is Moses delivering his people with God's help out of Egypt, and we see the Passover, where the destroying angel spared those that had the blood sprinkled over the doorposts and so we see that wonderful rescue and deliverance, that reward. When we practice our faith and lean into it, we see God giving us the victory. We see if people just do things in their own strength, it's really just weak people doing weak things. But when we see people leaning in their faith and walking by faith, doing things because of faith, then we see God getting the victory. There's a pastor, Dr. Vince Habner, and he says this. Dr. Vince Habner said, Moses chose the imperishable, saw the invisible, and did the impossible. I think we would all like to have that testimony when God calls us home, that we've been able to use our faith in a way that brings honor and glory to Him. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.